All right. Hi, we are going to jump right into the stimulus this week because I'm solo, so I'm just going to talk about the stimulus. Also, I've already posted a feedback video today, so I did have a lot of questions and a lot of videos to review, so I just decided to do a separate feedback video that I posted earlier today. If you haven't watched it, please do. All right, let's jump right into Social Security. So this is the drill number 4. So the first sentence is, your advocate came here last week and I told her to remind you to bring your Social Security card, driver's license, and utility bill. Did she? Okay, so you're interpreting for a Social Security appointment. Basics of structure, constructing a ASL sentence. Think about time first. We have last week. And remember, we're talking to the deaf person. That person's right there. So we have last week, and then your advocate. So this is typically the sign for advocate, supporter. Your advocate, gonna set that person up, okay? So last week, your advocate, she came here, okay? And then here's what I did. I told her to remind you to bring your Social Security card, driver's license, and utility bill, okay? So here's what I did. Please, I'm looking at the person who just set up in space. Please let her know, okay? And I'm saying let you know because you're there. So please let her know, okay? Bring Social Security card, driver's license, and utility bill, which could be fingerspelled, or it could be, a better way would be to expand on it. So it would be gas, water, electric bill, okay? Gas, water, electric bill, okay? And then the last part of it is, did she, okay? So that could be signed as finish, let you know. So she tell you, finish, tell you. Or true biz happen. Something like that. Okay, so back to the beginning of that sentence. We have, last week, your advocate, she came here, and here's what I did. Please let her know, bring Social Security card, driver's license, gas, water, electric bill. That's it. She inform you, okay? Now, inform you is one of those signs that I've said is prohibited when you're working on constructed dialogue, proper execution of constructed dialogue. However, we aren't saying that, it's not, I told your advocate this. So we're not using the sign inform as an introduction to a role shift in this case. All we're saying is, did she tell you that? Did she tell you that? So it's a different usage, and because of that, it's fine in this case. If the sentence was, your advocate came here last week, and I informed her to remind you to bring, and you sign that as, me informed her, bring, that's the usage that I want you to avoid for this practice. I want you to get used to just role shifting by saying who you're going to become and then do the dialogue. Who you're going to become and then do the dialogue. Okay? So that sentence once again. That's that whole sentence. The next one, sentence number 2. Perfect. I always tell people, if you don't have those things with you, you might as well come back when you do, okay? So perfect could be perfect, or something along the perfect, maybe even like relief, maybe, okay? So we have perfect. Then we have, I always tell people, to lead up to the role shift, I always tell people that could be me tend, okay, me tend. If you don't have those things, so here's what I tend to do is what I'm basically saying. What I tend to do is if you don't have those things with you, you might as well come back when you do. So me tend, and then I'm gonna now talk to everybody, okay? Talk to everybody by looking at the crowd, okay? Me tend, don't have those three, don't have those three. Appointment, postpone. Ready, have, come, ready, fill out, can. Something like that, okay? So the role shift in this case is I'm talking to the crowd, talking to the crowd. You could even consider in your vision of this, you may think of I always tell people as me tend when I meet someone or when I tend to sit with someone, because maybe the telling people is a one-on-one thing. Me tend something like that. Okay, so it all depends on your vision. I always tell people could be your vision could be that it's like all these people you're talking to, or it could be this conversation that happens on a one-on-one basis. Okay, so I'll do it to the group once again. Sentence again is perfect. I always tell people if you don't have those things with you, might as well come back when you do. Okay, so we have or relief, okay? And I'm just holding up those three cards. Ready, have, I have them. Come, sit, fill out, can, okay? Next one. You're applying for SSD, right? So in the real world, I would probably only sign something like SSD, right? And the reason for that is because we're sitting here in the Social Security office. It's clear that an application is going to be filled out. So it's kind of a clarification of which application you're filling out. SSD, right? The full sentence might be SSD apply, fill out, right? Or SSD apply, fill out, want, right? Something like that. But really, in the real world, I would probably only assign SSD, right? Just to confirm that's the form that we're filling out. So you choose which way you want to interpret that sentence. The next sentence is, go see Megan in the back. She's going to ask for your identification documents so she can scan them into the system. Okay, so we have talking about Megan. So Megan's going to be signed first. Megan, we're going to put her somewhere. Okay, when I think of in the back, I think of her like over there somewhere. Some people in their interpretations, they assigned it back there, and that's fine. Megan could be back there. We don't know where Megan is, and we don't know where in the back is. So Megan, put her somewhere. If you think of the back as back here, then you could say Megan, back there, okay? Go, etc. And you're gonna go going in that direction. But again, I think of Megan working way in the back, that way, in the printer department. So I'm going to put her over there. Okay, so we have Megan over there, okay? You go meet her, okay? You're going to meet Megan. And then we have she's going to ask for your identification documents, okay? So she, then you're going to shift slightly and say she, what's she going to say? She's going to say, those three, give them to me, okay? So we have Megan, Megan over there. You go and meet her. Here's what she's going to do. And then I'm going to shift. Those three things, give them to me. Done. And the reason why we don't have to expand on it is because we just did. We know that these are the 3 documents that keep coming up in the conversation. These 3 things. Do you have these things? Do you have them? So you're advocate about them. If I tell people if you don't have them, postponing your appointment. So this is clear what these 3 things are right now. Okay. So she will say these 3 things. Give them to me. Okay. And then, so she can scan them into the system. So we have she, and then we have the concept of scan. So there are a lot of things you can do with scanning them into the system. One person made a comment saying that their struggle was trying to figure out how to scan them into the system, like what to do with that, how to depict scanning. So, and I love that because it means this person was really thinking about how to show that process. So if you chose to depict scanning, which I actually think is a good choice, scanning might look like something like, here's what she's gonna do. She's going to pick up the lid, okay? 1, 2, 3 down, put the lid down, scan, or scan maybe, scan, and then upload to our computers, or upload, or just upload. That could be enough. Upload. Done. Okay? So that could be one way to depict it. So I'll do that again. We have Megan over there. You go and meet her. Here's what she's going to do. These 3 things, give them to me. And then she will lift up the lid, put them down, put it down, scan, and upload. Okay? And that would be the end. I'll do it again with my voice off. So we have that's one way to handle the idea of scan, okay? Some people might think that that kind of expansion of scan is not necessary. They might just sign scan, or scan, or scan. And all those could work depending on who your consumer is and the need for a clear depiction of the idea of scan, okay? The last sentence is, when that is done, come back here, have a seat, and we will start filling out the application, okay? When that is done, would be signed finish, right? Finish. And then come back here, so finish. Then you were over there a second ago. We're gonna come here. Hi, Cherise. I can't see you, but I hear you trying. Can you say something?
Yep.
Oh, I hear you. That's
Okay,
good.
got it. Okay.
No picture yet. Oh, there we go. Hi. We're almost done. Did you have a question about something that happened before the last sentence? No? You're just joining just to say hello? I can't hear you, but I could figure it out based on the signs that you signed. You've been wanting to, but you've had conflict, but you were able to, so you thought you'd come today.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad you came. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the last sentence again is, when that is done, so finish, and that covers finish, that covers that whole phrase. Come back here, so come here. Have a seat is in there, so you can just have a seat, and we'll start filling out the application. And have a seat could be like this, or it could be like this. It's possible that the counselor might actually sit like this and fill out the application together. I've actually interpreted Social Security appointments before that's how it actually looked. So whatever the real world situation is, sign it that way. So come here, sit down, and the 2 of us will fill it out, or the 2 of us will fill it out. And that's it. One thing I did want to say is the sign and then is generally when, with real strong ASL militants, is generally looked down upon. And so to avoid that sign, one thing you can sign, like for example, when that's done, a lot of people might say like, when that's done, come back here, have a seat, and then the two of us fill out will. But the and then can just be completely omitted, and then you can just keep going. So finish, come, sit down, two of us, fill out will, and that will be it. Okay, that's it. Do you have any questions? If you are somebody that really loves the sign and then, I know of at least one good, cute little girl who has a video about the sign and then, and I can send it to you. So just send me an email or do it through the questions form, and I'll send it over to you. There's also, somebody sent me, a prominent deaf woman had this like 5 or 10 things that interpreters do that make her crazy, and one of the things on that list was signing and then. So a couple of reasons to think about reducing the use of that sign. That's all I have. Anything?
I have a question. What are some other ways? So I count, like after I interpreted, I went back and I watched it, I was signing make sure, and I don't know.
Yeah, so
that kind of seems like the same idea.
Yeah, it is. Make sure is similar to and then, in the sense that they are, they're not the most beautiful ASL, but they're also kind of like somewhat harmless. But if you find yourself signing them often, it's a good idea to think about other ways. So, make sure. Do you remember where you signed? Make sure, like what context? Because it can. So make sure you bring your Social Security. Okay, so in that case, remind you to bring your, well, so what I did for this one is I just said, please bring, so that could work. Another one that could work for that one is important, bring this. Yeah, I actually find myself, I hesitate to say this, but I find myself using important a lot for the concept of make sure. And I also sometimes find that make sure is okay, meaning like there are times when if you're going, oh, what do I do for make sure? What do I do for make sure? This doesn't count for testing. This is testing aside, okay? If you have a consumer and you're like, oh, make sure isn't such great ASL, I know it's an English intrusion, what do I do, what do I do? Everybody knows what make sure is, and so it's not as impaired, it's not something that's so critical that should make you like miss the next sentence because you're thinking about how to best sign make sure. As opposed to something like utility bill. Maybe your consumer, if you're like utility bill, that your consumer may truly not get the information if you choose to fingerspell something like utility bill. So that's a critical piece of information that expansion you do could be really, really essential for them understanding, or everybody understands what, I mean, I shouldn't say everybody, but you know, make sure. So yes, it's an English intrusion. Yes, there are many ways that you can handle it, but it's not essential for the information where something like utility bill could be. Oh, there's another thing that is a good sign for make sure, require.
And then you were saying that on the testing aside, on the test, is that something they're like, ooh?
No, I mean, it's not going to be like, it's not critical, but obviously we want to present our best selves on the test. So, you know, like, when you're interpreting for a real person, and you know that you make sure they know what that means and it's not going to affect the message at all, then of course it's fine to sign that because it's all about communication. If you're communicating the point, then you communicate. But for a test, they're really like, so it wouldn't be ideal. But again, I still don't think that even on a test, if you're like, and you're getting further and further, it's messing up everything because of make sure, I wouldn't do that even on a test. I think that, you know, move on from make sure. Yeah, I actually, somebody I hold in great esteem was my teacher locally is one of the most renowned interpreters and instructors, even further than my local area, he recently said the same thing about make sure and similar things, similar colloquialisms, where they're just so common now that it's almost not worth, I shouldn't say this, but it's almost not worth that extra on our really, hash out an ASL interpretation of it, because they're just so common. What's another one? Make sure was the example that he gave, but I'm sure there are several others where they're just so common that it's like, make sure, everybody knows what make sure means, like, let's move on. Yeah. Ultimately, what ends up happening is when you get so deep into ASL and the message is, like, you are so accustomed to hashing out, finding the meaning, that you don't even, make sure just goes right by your head. It just goes right by, because you end up, meaning is always what you, So, the idea of make sure you bring these documents, it would just come out as, or because that's where, that's where your brain is anyway. Anything else? Well, thanks for coming to visit.
I was kind of, I thought it started at, does it start at 7 your time, or, okay, 7, okay. I was like rushing home, but then traffic was really bad. So hopefully next week, I'll be able to.
Next week, I'm going to do a different recording next week, so.
Oh, okay. Well, and maybe in 2 weeks.
Take care.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.